So when the child becomes identified at, say, 2 or 3 years old, the seeking begins, this tightness in the body begins, and then it feels like you are something solid looking out from the body. And then this doesn't feel quite right, so then you seek. So what the child does is it looks to its environment, to its family, to its schooling, and it listens to all the information that it's being told, and it's being told a lot that money is happiness, having a family maybe is happiness, having a good job is happiness, and then it begins to believe this momentum as well. So not only does it build up its ego, its sense of self, it then begins to believe that all these things that I acquire are going to give me happiness. And what it's actually looking for is the emptiness, is the melting away, is non-existence, which is existence. But what it's told is that the happiness is in the future. So then what it does is it looks for that freedom in time. So it looks for it in emotions. And the emotions, most people think my emotions are dependent on what's happening around me. So then it looks to things that it can obtain, like cars or houses or people or friends. So, and the friends also depend on emotions. So our emotions are part of this. Sometimes we either cut off with emotions or we become very lost in emotions and get overly involved in them. So some people get really cut off and they can't feel below their head. They're just a walking head and two eyes. Like, the body's like non-existent. And then you've also got the other people that are like too emotional and always looking to try to find emotional stability outside, and then they can't. So then there's lots of blame and anger and emotions. So you've got these two different dynamics that can arise, and there's many more as well. I'm just summarizing. And this is the lie. And what seems to happen in this subject is there seems to be a settling of that person. So the seeking is reduced. The person does activities to reduce its seeking. So it does meditation, it does yoga, it does breathing exercises, it does therapy to reduce its seeking, and it does things in its life to reduce maybe stress or discomfort in its life. It becomes more simple maybe. And then as it becomes more simple and more reduced, then there seems to be the possibility for non-duality to be heard beyond the person. When the person is too noisy, it seems impossible for that to be heard. I don't know why that is, it just is the way it is. And what I mean by heard is that you hear non-duality being spoken, or you see something incredibly beautiful and that barrier melts away, and then there's something else that's known, and that's called awakening. And that is, in the end, God's will. That's grace. Everything is grace. So even you reducing your seeking is grace, but in that it appears like there's somebody that's doing it. So it appears like there's somebody that's showing up to meditate, but there is absolutely nothing that the person can do to switch on the button of not existing, because the person is a thing, so it can't become an unthing. That person can't become enlightened. That person can't get non-duality. But the person can seemingly put in information about meditation, put in information about therapy, and the body-mind begins to change. And that process makes it more receptive, more than likely, to non-duality, although I can't guarantee it. This is just from my observation and what seemingly happened here. But you can't press non-existence on. That happens. There seems to be a surrender that happens, and that sometimes can be through events externally. We don't know why it is, but there's some form of surrender and collapse that happens, and that is grace.